Hello and welcome to Levant TV Headlines. World leaders at the United Nations turned their attention to the US-led campaign to root out terrorist groups in Iraq and Syria and moves to outlaw foreign fighters. US President Barack Obama says that airstrikes the United States and its Arab allies unleashed against the Islamic State group in Syria send a clear message that this is not America's fight alone. Israel and the Palestinians have agreed to resume talks late next month on cementing a Gaza ceasefire, allowing time for Palestinian factions to resolve internal differences. Bahrain will elect members to its 40-seat lower house of parliament on November 22nd, with the second round to be held on November 29th. And Iranian President Hassan Rouhani says an agreement on Iran's nuclear policy can be achieved before the November deadline, as diplomats seek a breakthrough during negotiations. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that the United States and its Arab allies unleashed deadly bomb and missile strikes on militants in Syria yesterday, opening a new front in the battle against the ISIS group. The paper also reports that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that the UAE Air Force launched its first strikes against ISIS targets on Monday evening. From Lebanon, the Daily Star reports that US-led forces have carried out at least 13 airstrikes in Syria close to the Iraqi borders on the second day of their campaign. The paper also reports that tension is mounting in the northern Lebanese city of Tripoli following the fatal shooting of a man from Bab el-Tabani yesterday. And the Egyptian Independent leads reporting that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said he does not reject opposing opinions, calling on supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood not to let their support turn into violence and terrorism. The paper also reports that prosecution has expedited investigation by the National Security Agency over the Sunday explosion. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from UK papers. The Telegraph reports that US President Barack Obama has declared a new phase in the military campaign to degrade and destroy Islamic State after Washington and a coalition of Arab allies launched a major new air offensive against the group's strongholds in Syria. The paper says the fresh wave of attacks came on the eve of the United Nations General Assembly and were seen as a powerful statement of the administration's efforts to build a regional coalition. The Independent reports that Yazidis in Iraq have made an emotional plea for the international community to help find more than 1,000 women and children kidnapped by the Islamic State. The paper says that witnesses said the abducted women were separated from their male relatives, who were often then murdered, divided into groups by age, and sent away to ISIS strongholds. The Guardian leads its Middle East news reporting that radical preacher Abu Qatada has been acquitted in a Jordanian court and released from prison. The paper adds that the court in Amman ruled there was insufficient evidence against Abu Qatada, with the judge describing the charges as weak and inadmissible. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in international papers. From Germany, the Deutsche Welle reports that 4 weeks after the end of the war between Hamas and Israel, talks between Palestinians and Israel are set to take place this week in Cairo. But in Gaza, people are desperate to rebuild their homes and lives. And finally, from China, the Global Times report that Hezbollah Secretary General Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah says that it's not in Lebanon's interest to be in the US-led international coalition against the Islamic State, as it's not in line with the dissociation policy, but because that poses threats to Lebanon. That's it for today. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.